Hello everyone, welcome back to the Stories of Stories. This is part of my series of trying to fix the fucking earth before we're Sodom and Gomorrah. Today's topic is about capitalism. I decided to kind of make this a mini-series within the series, so I call this the Thought Spot. So today's thoughts are on capitalism and how we could end it. So I'm just going to go down the list. It's in no real order. A little bit chaotic, but you know, that's how God is. So here we go. So the first thing we probably should talk about is how is everyone? Good question, right? If nobody owns land anymore because capitalism's gone, how's that going to work? How's everybody going to get housed? How is that going to be allotted? Simple terms, AI. We can build an AI. We have the tech already to build AI that could manage the land, know where we should be building, instead of how we're building now, which is shit, honestly. We're going to change how people live. No more like living in giant mansions with, sprawling hills where there's literally homeless a mile down the block. So what I propose is first would be shared allotted land, so nobody would own land anymore. Instead, it would be everybody's land. The only thing that you would own is a room, and the room size will be determined, by everybody. We'd make a vote, and that will be your private room. That'll be just for you, and that's where you can put all your personal things. You can have a lock on it, whatever, but everything else is all shared. Sharing is caring, after all. So like say you're an artist and you like making art, you could have like a big studio where everybody's doing their art. In this ideal world, there would be constant surveillance, so it's not like somebody would go in and destroy your art and get away with it. They'd be on camera. We'd see them. We'd see them. Nobody could get away with that stuff anymore, so it would be able to support a world like that where people could have like shared spaces, where everybody could do art together, because I'd be promoting artists, big artists here. Everybody would be an artist in my capitalist free world. Okay, God wants artists, not bankers. So I do have a list of useless shit jobs that I will get to in a moment, but let's continue on the public room share situation. So you could have room trades. So say somebody lives in a castle and you live in a mansion, and you want to trade and you want to live in the castle and they want to live in the mansion, you could like room trade. There'd always probably be rooms available all over the place. There'd still be like suites, like the studios. You could apply to get a studio, which would be kind of like a bigger room that isn't so much shared. Those would be kind of reserved for specific, I think, people. Not everybody would be deserving of that kind of space, in my opinion. Like, again, sharing is caring. Stop being a turtle in isolation. We'd have better city planning as well, so the housing wouldn't be so fucking garbage. Oh, I do have a video I'll probably insert that kind of shows real-life dollhouse living, which I thought was kind of an interesting way to build a housing that's kind of like dense and compact, where everybody kind of gets their space, but there's a lot of shared space as well. So there's privacy, but there's a lot of like open space. Everybody kind of wins in that situation. That's an option. Oh yeah, so everything that you want that is private should be able to fit into your room. I also have a rule where when you die, you have the 5 things that basically would be preserved and put in a special museum. That will go on a whole other topic. So the 5 things would be something that represents you. So throughout your life, there's like always 5 things you'd have marked down somewhere. That would be like, these are my 5 things that are the most meaningful, that kind of made up me as a person. This would be separate from all the art that you create. If you create art, obviously your art's going to be out there forever. But this is like 5 things. But if you have to leave your room for any reason, you should be able to carry everything that is vital to you on your back. Obviously, if you're disabled in a wheelchair, I'm talking about like a normal person that can carry normal weight should be able to carry their whole life in their arms. And if you can't, aren't you kind of hoarding? Like, sure, I'm surrounded by stuff, but I could easily carry what was vital to me if I had to make a decision. So we need to like reel it back. Okay, there's like way too much overconsumption now. Some of you people, I don't even have words. Like some of you people have so much fucking garbage. It's hoarding. It's fucking garbage. So there wouldn't be any more of that. If you can't fit in your room, too fucking bad. Stop being a hoarder. Be mad. You want capitalism to end, or do you want Sodom and Gomorrah? So make your decision. Next. Okay, so shared allotted land also would mean like, this is one issue I noticed is I went for a walk and now there's new development. So this real estate place has taken over land and they've just completely fenced it and they've completely cut off a trail that used to be public. Everybody was able to go down this trail and walk along a river. Well, not anymore. Not that since they moved into town. They've just put up a giant fence. Everything's fucking gated. And they've already started planting walls. Like, what the what? What? No. This is fucking God's land. I should be able to walk where I want to fucking walk and not run into a frickin' wall. Ridiculous. I should be able to get to the river and not have to, like, literally blow up a Great Wall of China to get there. Some of you really lost the plot. Sodom and Gomorrah. So that's going to be gone. Everybody can go everywhere. You don't own shit. You have your room, and that's pretty much the only thing that you have, and even that's borrowed. Okay, so let's move on to useless jobs, because that's what I was talking about before. So, shit jobs that'd be obsolete. Banks, gone. Goodbye. Useless. Investments, all that's gone. We don't need you anymore. You're gone. Go start creating art. Go get a life. Insurance place, yeah, you're gone. None of that no more. We don't need that, and no capitalism free world. That's gone. Real estate, they could be converted. Instead, those people can manage the land and the rooms, making sure that they're taken care of, that people aren't, like, making a fire hazard in their room. Somebody hoarding, like, I don't know, fireworks or something, totally jam-packed their room full of bombs or something. So instead, real estate agents, they could be kind of converted. They'd have a new job. Instead, they'd be going around, making sure all the rooms are cleaned for whoever's going to be in them next. What is another shit job? Politicians. Yeah, they'd be gone. We don't need them anymore. They sit around in a fucking circle jerking themselves. Like, we don't need you. Goodbye. Instead, everything would be run by literally everybody. We'd probably connect to an app or something. Somewhere at City Hall, city halls you could go, and everything would be communal. So whatever is being made a decision on, we don't need a politician there. We don't need a politician for that. Somebody that has an idea would go to City Hall and be like, hey, I have this idea. And then everybody would talk about it, not just politicians. That's the most fucking useless job. Like, fucking gone. Obsolete. What is another use? There's tons of jobs I can think of that would be obsolete. Capitalism free world, because education would be also free. So you could just go to school, learn whatever you want, be whatever you want. School would last till you're 25, because adulthood is 25. Sorry, you little freaking files. Fuck off. Okay, be gone. 25 is adulthood. You stay in school till 25. There's so much more. I have a whole section on education. I'll make a new video for that. So since you could just go and learn whatever you want and be whatever you want, there's no real need for a lot of the jobs would be obsolete, and instead you could go into like service. So everybody would have to learn a service job that they could help out in their community. So like plumbers, electricians, working on the roads. Roads would be changed. That's in a whole other section, environment. Even like picking up garbage, cleaning windows, stuff like that. Everybody would have a service job, and it would be like volunteer. You'd be helping out your community. You'd be able to work when you want to work. If you're stressed out, we get it. You're stressed out. Obviously, you'd have to contribute at some point. You couldn't just laze around and do nothing. Everybody would be required to go to some form of therapy. Some of y'all need fucking therapy. Oh, there'd be thrift share. So how do you buy stuff then? How do you get your food? How are we gonna end world hunger? Easily, okay? Like, you go to a store, just like imagine, close your eyes. You walk into the store, and there's like big tubs of everything that you need. It's like the bulk store. If you've ever seen a bulk store, they've been getting rid of the bulk stores for some reason because capitalism is a greedy, hungry disease. But instead, you'd go in and it'd be like a bulk store, and you'd be like, okay, I need a little bit of peanuts, I need a little bit of the milk, and you'd have reusable jars that you'd bring. They'd be glass, or, they'd be sterilized. Maybe there'd be a whole sterilization job or something at the stores to make sure everything's sterilized for everybody. And then you trade in your old jars or whatever, and you get new ones. And then say you want soy sauce, there'd be a whole giant thing for the different brands that make their soy sauce. So you'd fill up your soy sauce, and there you go. You go home. It's free. Obviously, it would be limited to a degree. You wouldn't be able to just go there and like completely empty the candy jar. There would be categories for food, and you'd only get so many allotments of certain categories. So like vegetables, stuff like that, would have less of a limit, whereas like candy, chocolate, sugar you're not actually supposed to be having, you fatties, okay, you'd get limited. You'd be limited, okay? You'd only get so much sugar, and you wouldn't be able to just send somebody else in there to get you extras, because we'd know. We'd be watching. Okay, live streamed. Everything's live streamed. Surveillance. We'd all be able to be knowing that Sally's gone in there 50 times to get candy, and she's looking a little bit too big. Have some shame. Have some shame. Okay? Go to therapy. Go to therapy. So manage resources. How do we share between all the countries? Well, because everybody would be on the same page. Okay, every country is on the same page. An AI could easily know where resources are needed. Like, oh, this country, they're running out of bananas. Okay, we need to ship some bananas out to them. So we'd ship the bananas out. Oh, this person, they need rice. Okay, let's ship the rice out to them. They need it could be easily managed. It could easily be managed by an AI that would know. And like if you feel like something's not being managed, you just go to your city hall. You know what I mean? And the city hall would be all connected to the entire earth. So like everybody could see who's putting in what at the city hall. So there wouldn't be any corruption. There wouldn't be room for corruption anymore. You'd be surveyed. Everything would be surveyed. Everybody could see everything. Everything would be all public. There'd have to be complete transparency. So there's no like hiding shit. If you wanted to buy things, like say somebody makes dresses. So this is how I thought of how we could do this, so everybody could win without capitalism. So say you want a dress that's made in another place far away from you. You'd say, hey, I know this person makes all these beautiful dresses. They're an artist. They make all these dresses. So I would really like one of those dresses. So you'd put in your name on the dress, okay? And you'd be put in a queue, or it'd be random. I'm not sure exactly how we could sort it out. The dresses would be made and shipped out based on your place on the queue, and you could only request so many things at a time. So you couldn't be greedy. There'd be no more greed anymore because you'd literally be cock blocked. You couldn't be greedy even if you wanted to be. So that could kind of fix that problem. And then if you're a creator, maybe you get a little bit higher up in the queues when you request something. Say if you made a dress, okay, and you're shipping out dresses, and then you want somebody else's dress, you'd have credit or whatnot. This kind of goes into the idea of social score. All the renditions of social scores have been negative. For instance, Black Mirror TV series, they showed social scores, but that was really a negative way of viewing social scores. It should be based on your contributions and stuff like that. If you're working your service around, your service job, you're picking up trash, everybody sees you're picking up trash, that should make your score go up. You sitting on your ass doing absolutely fucking nothing, creating nothing, you're not showing up for your service job, you're just sitting around, absolutely no contribution, well, obviously you're going to have a low score. You're not doing anything. I'd also suggest that if we do have a social score in any way, it does forgiveness, things like that. Like say if you're going to therapy, you're working on yourself, say something traumatic happened to you or something like that, there'd be some leniency. After a while, there'd be social score resets. Played on a lot of servers where there's server wipes, for instance, and it wipes the economy. So everybody starts at the beginning. And this goes with all jobs. So people that used to be in certain jobs and have certain whatever statuses, they'd all get reset on these servers, and people do just fine. They do just fine. So we could work something out there. We have a lot of geniuses around, okay? I'm sure we could figure this out. There would be no kings anymore. They're gone. That's snake behavior. And, in the stories of stories, we don't like snakes. There are no snakes. So no kings. No kings, no queens, none of that. No politicians. Why do we need that? Everybody has a voice. Everybody's heard. For protecting this system of no capitalism anymore, I think the security all should be trained in counseling, for one. The fact that we have officers with literal mental disorders working is insane to me. Absolutely insane. They should have to learn how to be a counselor first before they even can be considered to work in security. Security's job would be basically to protect our resources. So, making sure, like calling, say somebody's got a dispute in their room, their shared space, there's somebody being nasty or something like that, right? Then they could call security. Security would show up, and they had no counseling, right? So they know all the resources for counseling, how to get the person that's being nasty into therapy, whatever they need to do, escorting people out of areas if they're being a disturbance, and stuff like that. So security would have a real total rework. They wouldn't be having guns no more. No more guns. Guns would be going into the garbo. Okay, do like Australia. You put them in a pile and you burn them. Okay? I think there would have to be some sort of, I guess, armory. Because unfortunately, there's a lot of fucking snakes out there that just would hate a capitalism-free world and somehow would be crafting with their 3D printer guns. Somehow they'd still find a way. So obviously security just in general wouldn't have guns. Guns would be supplied when guns pop up, right? So if somebody shows up with guns, well, open up the fucking armory. We're going to get them, boys. We're going to get them. How do restaurants work, right? How am I going to get my Chinese food? How am I going to get... Well, McDonald's would be gone. We're going to burn all those. They're going to be all gone. So don't worry about McDonald's. But say you want some like delicious Chinese food, you want some East Indian food, you want that sushi. Well, instead there'd be free cooks. So if you know how to cook, you'd go to your free education, get certified to show that you know how to do proper food safe. And then you could sign yourself up at the city hall and be like, hey, my service, I'd like to do cooking. So I'd like to cook sushi for people. So you'd go on an app right in your community and you'd be like, hey, today I'd like sushi. I would like this. I'd like that for my meals, right? Because you could have meal allotments. Because not everybody can, cook. Maybe they'd be busy with their service jobs, busy creating their art. So instead the cooks would be doing the cooking. That'd be their service job. And a lot of people do like cooking. Some people take a lot of pride in their cooking. So the cooks would serve the food, right? So you'd be like, hey, I want this. I want my sushi. So you go sign up, and then you go get your sushi, and everybody knows that you're getting the sushi for the day. The sushi cook would be there to do the sushi cooking. And that's how that could be done. It would be, free. Obviously, there'd be limits. You couldn't be just, saying you want sushi 50 times a day and like fucking Cookie Monster. Okay, again, have some shame. Fatties. I used to be fat, okay? And I admit to myself, I was fat. I was overindulging. I was having bad shit over just consuming. When you stop that. For clothing, here's another thing. How about all the girlies, all the people that love fashion? So just imagine this. Let's all close our eyes. Say you walk into a warehouse, okay, and it's just full of all the things you could ever want to wear, and everybody shares it. So instead of like a thrift store where you buy things, it's a thrift store where everybody shares. It's called thrift share. So you'd go into this warehouse, you know what I mean? Like you could just share. It'd be like going to the library and you'd rent clothes instead. And, you could wear your beautiful ball gown. You could wear like the most beautiful lavish wedding gowns, right? There could be like the thrift share for every single kind of clothing that you can think of, suits, whatever it is you'd want to wear, right? And you could go in there, find your size, wear it, take good care of it. Sharing is caring, so you know that this is all shared. And when you turn it in, you'd have to admit consequences, right? If you put a rip in it, you'd be like, hey, sorry, I did get a rip in it. You'd have to write down how that happened. How did the stain happen? How can I be better? Blah, blah, blah. Again, therapy. Some of y'all never been. It's great. Great stuff. It's a drug. Go to therapy. That's how it'd work. We no longer have helmets because everybody would get a room and at least a kitchen space. Everybody would have shared pots and pans, right? Like, why are we like so separated? I've watched a couple now of really good documentaries on Earth ships. Put in some footage here of Earth ships. Earth ships are communal living, co-op living, where multiple people are all living on in these Earth ships, and it's actually really cool. And they're made out of recycled stuff. They look like art pieces. Some of them are really, really cool and artistic, and like, I would sign me up. I want to live there. Give me a room there. So again, we have so many options to eliminate capitalism, but some of y'all are just freaking greedy. It's exhausting. It's so exhausting. It literally drains the life out of me. You are the vampires. You're the vampires. That's how we can end capitalism. And this could work everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're in a third world country or first world country. First world countries, obviously, we would be the first to convert and start supporting the third world, get them built up, get them the appropriate systems, and then everything would be golden. We would all be connected. Like, we all have a gate. We all got a gate. We all have access now. We just need the right system, and we need to stop being divided, because being divided is what has kept capitalism alive. The kings. So that's how we done capitalism. Thank you for coming to ThoughtSpot. If you have anything that you want to contribute, add to that, questions, I'll make another ThoughtSpot. Or if I think of more things that I've somehow missed that weren't already here, I'll make another ThoughtSpot on capitalism. But that's pretty much it. So, yeah. End capitalism today.